Hey everyone, it's Liz of Consumed by Books, and I have what I believe is 3 weeks worth of IMM to show you. So let's start off by seeing what I got for review. From the publisher, I got a copy of The Time Traveling Fashionista, which is by Bianca Turetsky. I've heard kind of mixed things about this one, but what I will say, and I haven't had the chance to read it yet, is that the finished copy is really nicely done. Because if you take the jacket off, there's a fancy design under there, and there's also, sorry, fiddling with the pages, illustrations in the book that are in color, kind of like this, or let me see if I can find one of a costume. Okay, yeah, something like that. So I'm really excited to read this one, and if it's as good, as the copy is pretty, then I think we're going to be all set. And I have had a few books from Starbook Tours. I had Between Sheets of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, which is out March 22nd, and it's a really incredible read. You should all go get a copy of this book once it comes out. It's really fantastic. And I've also had The Anti-Prom by Abby McDonald. And then the last book from Starbook Tours is The Romeo and Juliet Code, which is by Phoebe Stone. And what I didn't realize is that this is actually supposed to be a retelling of The Secret Garden, and it's set in Maine. I'm only 20 pages in so far, but it's interesting, so I'll be curious to see how I end up liking it. I haven't actually read The Secret Garden, but I need to do that. Okay, and next up are gifted items. So a lot of you saw that I just posted about RAK on the blog, Random Acts of Kindness, and I got a random act of kindness from Jolie of Actin' Up with Books. It is Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates, and I've been wanting to get my hands on this for a while, so I'm very excited to have a copy of this. Thank you very much, Jolie. I got a cute little card from Misty of Book Rat because I sent her some books, and I think she made this herself. Isn't that cool? And also my mom got me a couple of books. She got me The Story About the Story, Great Writers Explore Great Literature, so it's like Wolfe on Hemingway, Heaney on Eliot, that kind of thing. And she also got me Off Main Street, which is by Michael Perry. We saw this guy speak at a kind of a talk about creative nonfiction writing, and he signed it for me. So thank you very much to Michael for signing my book, and to my mother for getting those for me. And next up are the books that I bought. Yes, my book buying ban is over, and I did make it through all of February without buying a single book, but March 1st I was, pushing my little online shopping carts around and having a blast, so back to my usual antics, it would appear. Anyways, I got a copy of Pay the Piper by Jane Yolen and Adam Stemple, a rock and roll fairy tale. This was on sale, actually, for a pretty good price, so that was exciting. Also, you can't really go wrong with Jane Yolen. Also, this finished copy is really pretty. It's all gold and metallic, and look at this back cover. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? So I'm excited to have a copy of this and check it out. I have Bleeding Violet, which is by Dia Reeves. I've been hearing a lot about Reeves's books since her second novel, Slice of Cherry, just came out. I think I'm either going to love this one or I'm going to hate it. I don't think there's any kind of middle there. So I will be curious to see how I feel about it. I hope I love it because it looks really unique and interesting. But we'll just have to see. Next up, I got White Cat, which is by Holly Black. So when I was at the Breathless Books event, Brenna Jovanoff said that if you like her book, The Replacement, then you would probably also enjoy White Cat, so I decided to get a copy. I don't think I've read anything else by Holly Black, but this is one that's gotten a lot of really positive reviews, and it's another pretty finished copy because of all the metallic lettering on here. So I will definitely be really glad to check this one out and see how I like it. Next up, and I'm really excited about this one, is come over here. Sean Griswold's Head, which is by Lindsay Leavitt. This came out March 1st, and I don't think I've seen a negative review of it yet. It looks like a really sweet love story, but also like a book that deals with real issues. So I cannot wait to read this. It looks fantastic. You can see Lindsay's first novel, Princess for Hire, behind me, and I still need to read that one. I got The Mermaid's Mirror, which is by L.K. Madigan. Many of you know that L.K. Madigan recently passed away, and I didn't really know her at all personally, but from everyone else's remarks, I can see that she had a big impact on the young adult community. And I wanted to, buy her book and honor her life's work. I'll also get a copy of Flash Burnout at some point soon. So this looks really good though, and I'm excited to read it. Okay, this one is kind of obscure, but it's Strange Dreams by Brian Andreas. This is an artist who lives in Iowa somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but he does prints that kind of look like this. We used to have one in our house somewhere. I don't know where it went. But they're always really interesting and cool and funky. So I'm glad to have the chance to check out more of his work. And I think it's cool that they put it in book form like this. I don't think I've seen something quite like this before. And we have a children's classic that I love but never own my own copy of somehow. Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Shiny 50th anniversary edition. As soon as I got this home, I sat down and read it. It's great. Forgot how much I love Dr. Seuss. I definitely want to get more of his books now. Ah, that was a pile of books falling over. That sometimes happens. Okay, I also got some adult nonfiction titles. I got Cleopatra, A Life by Stacy Schiff. I took a Roman history class in college, and I recently read the book The Lily of the Nile, which is supposed to be about Cleopatra Selene, I believe. Yeah, so the daughter of Cleopatra. But I'm really excited to read more about her because I think Cleopatra's a really interesting historical figure. So that should be good. Pretty cover on that one too. I have Alone Together, Why We Expect More from Technology and Less from Each Other by Sherry Turkle, which is kind of about how things like Twitter and Facebook and smartphones and all that kind of stuff affect how we interact with one another in person, which I think as a blogger and someone who's often on Twitter and fairly often on Facebook, this will be a really interesting book to read. We'll see how it changes my outlook on it all, but I'm excited to check it out. And lastly, the last book I got is very fun, very fancy, Fancy Nancy by Jane O'Connor. So I volunteer at my library a lot in the children's section because I want to be a children's librarian. And I picked one of these up one day because the librarians had been saying how good they are, and these books are really good. They are really helpful for vocabulary, but they're also very fun and cute. They're definitely very girly, but I really enjoy reading them quite a bit. So I decided to finally start collecting my own copies of them. I love how sparkly this cover is. Glitter is just never lost on me, It's just like, ooh. Okay, so anyways, that is everything that I got in my mailbox this week, and I can't wait to hear about what you guys got. Happy reading!